I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining the show tonight. As usual, I'm your host, Dano. You guys, I've got a return guest. Now, this guest was on episode 93, and that title was Oklahoma Bigfoot and Dogman Encounters. You guys, we got Charles coming back. Now, if you don't quite remember, Charles had an encounter in Oklahoma at a hunting cabin on a hunting lease. And as they were cleaning it out, he noticed a table that he didn't recall being there before. But this table was hairy. He thought at first it was a bear pelt laid across the table, but what he found out later, if you haven't seen or listened to that episode 93, you need to go back and check it out. But a lot of people wanted Charles to come back on. He had some Texas encounters, East Texas, as a matter of fact. And he's going to get into some stuff that, yeah, it sounds pretty cool. But before we bring Charles on, I just want to say thanks for all the support. You guys, we did it. We hit that goal of 5,000 subscribers before the end of the month. So thank you so much for all the support you do there. If you guys have had an encounter and you'd like to come on the show, please shoot us an email at the cryptidpodcast72@gmail.com. That's the cryptidpodcast72@gmail.com. Without further ado, let's bring on our guest. Charles, what's going on, buddy?
Man, not much. You doing all right?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for coming back on. I appreciate it. I know it's kind of like short notice. I sent you, hey, man, you want to come back on?
Right.
So,
Oh yeah, no problem.
So, it's just like the last time, man. I'm going to go ahead and put the camera on you and let's just go. You brought up 4 kind of encounters that you'd like to talk about. And yeah, let's start with them. And the show's all yours, my friend.
All right. Okay. First, these are in East Texas, and I probably live, I don't know, about 10 miles as a crow flies from the airport and right next to a lake. But anyway, I was over at my mom and dad's house visiting. I was outside smoking a cigarette, sitting out on the porch, and I noticed a big old shadow come over me. And I was waiting to hear noise, from like a plane or whatever. And there was no noise. So I look up, and to my surprise, it's the biggest bird I've ever seen in my life. This bird's like, it's as big as a jet, easy. And you can see it. I can see it well enough. I can see its beak. I can see its feathers and what color it is. It's like a red color. The sun shining through its feathers and stuff. And it never flaps the whole time that I see it come over, and it's scanning the ground below it. And that's about it. I mean, it had to be the size of a jet. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. It looked like it was big enough it could pick up a person. And then the next encounter, me and my boss, I was at work, we was headed to a job, and was driving down interstate. I look off to the right, and there's this big dog creature that's right there at the edge of the wood line, right there in this little cut. And it takes 3 steps before we get past it, and I can't really see it anymore. But during these 3 steps, I can see its hands, and it was on all 4s the whole time. It had like raccoon looking hands. It looked like when it took these steps, it looked like its shoulders or arms was just a little bit longer than the back legs. But the weird thing is that it had long hair all over its body from its head to its tail, bushy like a long-haired dog, but it stopped at its shoulders and its hips, and it came to a V. And then short hair started after that. The next episode will be here in my backyard. I was hunting deer, and I snuck out to this. I'm sneaking out to the stand, and it's about 4:30 in the morning, so I can get out there before the deer start moving around too good, and I can watch them move around. I'm just really going to observe this hunt, really, but I'm taking my rifle just in case. So I sneak out to the stand, and as I'm sneaking out to the stand, I get to the wood line, and that's where the sneaking starts. I'll take like a step because I don't want to disturb the deer that's there. I'll take a step, and it's kind of like a 3-point look. You look left, forwards, and right to make sure nothing's disturbed before you take the next step, and so forth and so on. So I'm creeping out there. And as I'm creeping, I'm listening, and it sounds like there's something walking with me. And it's not like 4 steps, tap, 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 or whatever, or 2 quick and session. It's step for step with me. Step, 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 step. I don't really pay it no mind. I think it's figuring that it's most likely probably a deer in some kind of weird way stepping with me. So I head out to this, I'm creeping out to the stand, and I creep all the way up into my tripod, and I'm sitting out there, and I start seeing the deer move around a little bit and stuff, and it gets shooting light and the deer run off. I'm sitting there watching birds fly and stuff, and then all of a sudden there's nothing, no noise, everything's just quiet as can be. And I start scanning the area to see if there's what I can find out there. The tripod is probably about 12 foot up in the air. And as I'm scanning the area on the ground, I don't see anything. So I scan up in the tree, probably about as high as me or a little bit higher. And I come across this clear blob in a tree that's bipedal, that you can see arms and legs and the head. And it's got its hand on the tree. And in my head, and in a low voice, I tell this thing, I can see you. And it looks down at its feet and then looks back up like, no, you can't. And I was like, yeah, I can. I mean, do something. And it squats and then gets back up. And I tell it it squats and gets up. And so it believes I can see it, I guess. And it stops. And I get bored with it for a little bit because it hasn't done anything in a while and it's not reacting to my thoughts or whatever. So I look away for a little bit, and as soon as I look back, it's gone. A little bit later, the deer still hadn't come back or whatever. So I climb out of my stand and I'm walking towards these bushes because I can feel a presence or something looking at me in these bushes, is what it seems like. So I walk towards these bushes, and I get probably about 10, 15 feet away from it. And I'm trying to look in past the leaves and this little underbrush, and I can't really see in. So I go to raise my rifle up. And as soon as I get my rifle raised up where I can see through the scope, these bushes, they're probably like 12 foot tall. And for about 8 to 9 feet, I don't know, maybe more, 10 to feet out, all these bushes in front of me just erupt and start shaking like crazy. Like, they're just shaking really bad, just like leaves are falling off and stuff. And I lower the rifle and they stop shaking. So I raise the rifle up again to look through the scope again, and they start shaking again. I lower it again, throw it on my shoulder. There's a big stick laying out in front of me. I pick this stick up and I start smacking these bushes, and I holler a little bit and I'm smacking it. And I stop and they don't do anything. So I'm like, I sneak around, trying to figure out why all these bushes were shaking. I sneak around it. And I'm walking around, and I have a little headlight in my pocket from walking earlier that morning, just in case I need a light when I was walking out. I can cup it in my hand and just click the button and just see a little bit, just to see what's in front of me without giving away where I'm at really too much. and then turn it off. So I got this headlight and I shined it in these bushes in the shadows, and I can't see anything. So I don't pay it any mind. I'm walking back to the house through my trail, through the woods, and I'm about halfway to the house through this trail, and I'm hearing something step with me, step for step. And I look off to the right in this little clearing, and this window is probably about as big as a 55-gallon drum, maybe. And as I look through this little window, you can see hair, like, I don't know, like light sandy fawn color or whatever, like a deer. And the hair is probably about the same length as a deer hair. But you can't see its head or anything. You can just see like a piece of, I don't know, chest maybe, or shoulder, or maybe both together. I'm not sure because I can't really make out anything. So I go to raise my rifle up so I can get a better look through my scope at what I'm trying to look at, and see if I can see a face somewhere in the leaves or something that's blocking it. But this is probably, I don't know, 8 foot high, this window. So this thing's even taller than that, its head is. But as soon as I raise this rifle up, it disappears. I mean, in a blink of an eye, it's gone. And I never took my eye off of it. It just, boom, it's not there. All right. So I get back to the house, and that's the end of that one. The next one is at night. I go outside. I heard some noises outside. And the weird thing is like coming up to this point, I had a dog get in between my refrigerator that's on my porch, just like a beer fridge, and the house. And there's really not room for this dog to fit in between that and the house. But for some odd reason, he has squeezed his way in there, like trying to hide from something. This is like maybe a night or two before this happens. So this night, I go outside, and as soon as I walk outside, it feels like some weird electrical storm. It's really weird. It's like your hair standing up on ends and stuff. It's like static electricity all in the air, but it's kind of calm and soothing. All right. I walk outside, and I walk to the end of the house, and I'm looking off into the woods and stuff right there. And I don't see anything, and I'm just sitting there looking, and then all of a sudden I see the biggest black cat that I've ever seen in my life walk past me. And it's not like right past me. It's probably, I don't know, 20 feet, maybe 25 at the most away, right at the edge of the wood line, right there by my house. And then, I don't know, maybe 5 yards past the wood line, there's like my fence line. So right in front of the tree line on my side, this big cat walks across me. That has to be, by measuring it to the fence, my barbed wire fence that I have out there, he's got to be anywhere from 4.5 to 5 foot tall at the head and ear like area. But I see it's dark, dusk, but you can see just good enough with my night light or booger light, whatever you want to call it, security light that's outside, and the moonlight, where it's casting a good light halo where you can see really good right in that area. But I see this big cat walk right by me, and it kind of like looks, I can't really see its eyes or face or anything, but you can tell that it pauses and kind of like looks my way for a second, kind of just looks back and just keeps walking. It didn't really feel aggressive to me at any time. But I was thinking a big black cat. I got a couple outside dogs, and it's in my yard. I'm scared that this thing might get hungry and decide to eat my dogs. I don't know. So I'm in protect my critters mode. So I see this thing walk past me. Its tail is uh, at least as long as it is, and it's from arm to arm on me. You can kind of see how it goes up and then down and up and down, kind of like a cat's tail would, where it's not straight, just really long, kind of like a jaguar's tail or a cougar's tail or something. Something in that range. So I stop, look, pause for a second, run inside because I'm in protect mode. I go grab my shotgun, grab some bullets and a flashlight, come back out so I can see its eyes and get the glare in my sight and I can shoot it in its eye. That's what I'm thinking. So I go back outside and I look where it was walking towards. And sure enough, when I shine a light down there, there's a set of eyes that's looking back at me. But not just one set, there's like two other sets, and they're like a little lower than that set of eyes. Say that one's 5 foot, the other one's probably around 2.5 foot range, and then maybe one, I don't know, maybe it's squatting down. I'm not sure what's going on. But there's another one in between the tall one and the small one, off to the side a little bit. I don't know, about 5 feet, 6 feet apart roughly. And this one I'm looking at is tree peaking, and the tree's probably 8 inches in diameter. It's not a big tree, but it's decent little pine tree. And it starts tree peaking me, and I raise my shotgun up with right along beside my flashlight, so I can see just the bead and just the eyes of the critter that I'm going to shoot at. And as I raise my shotgun up and I'm holding it on its eye, I'm thinking in my head, about the third time I see its eye, I'm going to pull this trigger. And all of a sudden, I hear a voice in my head that sounds like a female voice. Maybe it could have been young female or just female. I'm not sure. That says, "Don't shoot," or "Don't shoot me." And I'm like, this again, something's in my head again telling me not to shoot. I'm not understanding what's going on. And I ask it, "What are you?" And I was thinking in my head, when I asked this, because it talked to me in my head, I gave it, I don't know, probably 3 seconds or a little bit more. It done peeked its eye behind the tree 2 times. And I said, at the third time that I see it here in this next session, I'm going to pull the trigger on the third shot if you don't answer me. And I didn't get an answer, so I squeezed the trigger. And at the end of that, I aimed where I would skim the bark of the tree, and you can see where I knocked the bark off. That way I would know that I hit it exactly in the eye where I was aiming for. And you hear 3 really big whomps. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then it's silence again, like deathly silent, really quiet. So I run in the house because that flashlight's acting up, and it's like the batteries are like drained or something. I'm not sure what's going on. I could have sworn it was charged before I brung it out. And then all of a sudden it ain't acting right. So I took it back inside and I go grab a bigger flashlight and come back out that's more like a spotlight. So I turn this booger on and it lights up my front yard where I shot at this critter in my edge of the wood line. And there's no blood anywhere. And I measured from me standing next to the tree, it was a little above my shoulder where the eye would have been. So the head would have probably hit me in the chin, the top of the head on all fours, whatever this was. And I'm not sure if it went through a portal or what, because when I got over there, all 3 of them were gone that were there when I got back with the bigger flashlight. And that's all I got, Dan.
Bro. Okay. Let's start with the first one. Okay.
All right.
When you're saying as big as a jet, you're not referring to like an airliner where people fly on to fly from, whatever. Are you talking like maybe a smaller jet or
Yeah, like a fighter jet, like
oh,
a
okay.
Air Force fighter jet,
Okay. And you said
somewhere
it
around that size. It looked like it was big enough it could pick me up. It kind of made me nervous a little bit, and I was right next to the door. I was making sure I could get there if it tried to swoop down.
yeah. Now, it just soared. You didn't see it flap its wings at all like you stated. It just
Yeah,
soared. Did it go in one direction? Did it kind of circle around a little bit and then take off, kind of, or did it just continue to go in a forward motion when you saw it?
it just soared, and it would have been going northwest, and it would have crossed. The airport would have had to see that thing fly over it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And the flight that it was taking, when they do their flights, when their practice runs or whatever, when they're doing touch and goes, and I guess it's a new pilot getting used to the craft or whatever that he's going to be flying, they'll fly over quite a bit, and they fly directly over my house, and like where my mom lives is like a couple acres away, and right over her house. So,
Now,
and I was at her house, sir,
you said airport. So, is it a civilian airport or is it a military?
civilian,
Okay. Okay. That's I
and it flew right over the lake too. So, and
and
he would have had to, it would have had to do that to get to the airport regardless. But it was in
what
a straight line path for the airport. It looked like
okay. What lake was that?
Cherokee.
Okay. All right. Cool. Number 2. So, you said you saw a dog man. Um again, kind of exactly what were you doing when you first saw us? Because you said it took like 3 steps.
Yeah,
Like, describe the whole I don't know if I missed it or not, but what exactly were you doing when you saw this?
we were riding down the road. Well, he was driving, I was riding, and all the time I'm looking off trying to see if I can see anything or what there is to see. I don't like just watching the road, but I'll watch it too. But I felt something kind of tell me to look that way. It just felt wrong or something. So I looked off to see what I could see. And there was this long haired dog critter. And I don't know. He said maybe it had the mange. And I was like, no, man, his hair looked really good. And it was all the way from the tip of its nose, past where it's wet, where the hair starts.
Mhm.
Its hair was long hair all the way down at its ears, all the way around. It looked like it might have cut off somewhere in the shoulder line. I'm not sure. It might have came on down to the chest because I only got to see it. It was like it was pointed towards the lane with his head towards the lane, his butt towards the tree line. And we would have passed it. It was looking on its right side as we were going.
Now, were you with a coworker when this happened?
Yes, my
Okay.
boss.
Okay, that's right. I remember you saying that. What color was it?
Kind of like a reddish brown, almost like a German Shepherd color, that reddish brown color that they have.
Okay.
And the weird stuff, at the shoulders and the hips, it came to a V. Now I don't know if it was to a perfect V, if it had a little roundness to it or whatever, but the long hair stopped right at the shoulder. And then all of a sudden it was nothing but short hair, like
So,
on the front legs and back legs.
about if you had to put a height on it from the top of its head to the ground, how tall do you think that is?
Where it was like standing or whatever
Yeah. So, like, if
from
it was
his arm
well, if how tall would it be up, like, 5
upright.
feet up at the head or
If it stood upright, I would have say it would have been. It looked like it would have been about 6 to 6.5 foot
Like if it
tall
stood up, oh, and
if
you
it
said it
stood
had
up on two legs, but it was on
okay,
all fours, so maybe 3.5 to yeah, somewhere about 3.5, probably close to 3.5 to the top of the head,
okay.
maybe 4. It was
So
long. It was more longer looking than like from the tip of the nose to its butt almost looked like it was about 4.5 foot long.
yeah, now
So if
you
it would have stood up, it would have been easy 6 to 6.5. But it
okay, and
was skinny. It wasn't no bigger than me, like say maybe 200 pounds at the most. I'm 185.
okay. So you described it having hands like a raccoon.
Yes.
Okay. And let me ask you this. Would you describe the hair you saw, the long hair where it went down and it kind of came to a V and the below it was short hair? Would you call that a mane? Do you think it looked like a mane?
Maybe. I guess that would be a type of mane. Yes, for
Okay.
sure. And
All
and
right.
and the arm hair, I want to say, was like a lighter brown color. The short hair,
Okay.
and the hands were black, like a raccoon's.
Okay. All right. And again, I'm trying to understand, was it walking towards you or was it walking away from you?
It was walking towards us, like we were driving east, and it
Mhm.
was headed northwest
Okay.
towards the road. So it was kind of half like quartering us, I guess you could say, like towards us.
Kinda like angling,
As,
coming at an
yeah,
angle.
as we were driving past. So I was looking at it out the right window, and I raised up and followed it all the way through, until I couldn't see it no more over
Okay.
through the window and over my shoulder. And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." And I was like, "Fine, I'll go ahead and tell you." And I told him, and he just kind of looked at me, and I was like, "I don't know, man. That's why I told you wouldn't believe me. I mean, I just seen it, and I looked it up, to see
Yeah.
what it was." And somebody had a pretty good drawing on one of the things of it, where it's squatted down and not standing up. And you can
Yeah.
see it goes all bushy, and it kind of almost looks like a fox, I guess,
Mhm.
in that picture, more so than like a coyote, but the hair and everything's perfect. I mean, whoever drew it seen what I seen.
Well, there was an encounter, Josh, uh, from, Mysteries Unknown, he had a guest on, and he was 12 years old, and he was out hunting, and he saw what he thought was a fox, and he shot it. But in his head, he heard, "Don't," and then he pulled the trigger and shot, and then he heard, "Shoot me." So he if he would not have shot, he would have heard, "Don't shoot me."
Yeah,
And it turned out to be a dog man, and that thing followed this guy for, like, all through his almost all through his entire life, and the thing communicated with him one time, he's like, "Don't think I haven't forgot who you are, and when
right.
when I'm given the okay, I'm gonna kill you first." That's what this thing would tell him, and then,
Dang.
oh, yeah. So, again, when you were describing the hair, I'm like, he's describing a mane, and there's been a lot of encounters that I've heard where these things have manes,
Yeah, I
you know?
mean, I don't know how else you would call it. That's the best way. Either that or like a cape, but yeah,
Yeah.
a mane is perfect because it sets on it like a cape,
Mhm.
and then it's really long hair everywhere except it's short hair everywhere else. I imagine if it would have stood up, it would have had short hair on its chest and ab area,
Yeah.
too. But I didn't see that because I didn't have that opportunity with the speed that we were going, and if it was going to stand up or not. Now I could tell that the look on its face and what I felt is it was disgusted and hated everything, is what it felt like. If you can read energy just a little bit, that's how it felt to me.
Right.
It's like
W
it was disgusted with everything and just wanted to kill whatever. It didn't matter. It was
so
the
what
feeling
what
that I got.
how long was its muzzle? If you can guesstimate, what kind of give me a description of what the face. I know you said it kind of looked like a fox.
Yeah.
So
The
that's
muzzle was longer, like probably like a fox muzzle's pretty long, but
yep.
for the size, it doesn't look that big, but more like a German Shepherd. They have a really long muzzle. My mom has one,
Yeah.
and it's more like that. It looked more long and slender, like the ones that I seen in Oklahoma
Yeah.
was shorter
Okay.
and the shorter muzzle, thicker, wider. They looked way bigger. Their heads were huge. They didn't look like it had a mane really. It just looked like it was hair, like part of it. This thing looked more like a mane because those I seen the shoulders, and the shoulders were big and fluffy too. And I never seen a cut or anything in the where the shoulder was. Is just it looked like it was long hair almost to the top of the tricep bicep area. That's what looked weird when it turns. You could kind of see just about the top of it, and I was like, well, that's wasn't a hip. It was different. And then when it did on the other one, but this one is way longer nose. The
Yeah.
muzzle's way longer and slenderer. So
So would you say that it its head kind of favored that of a German Shepherd?
yeah,
Okay.
or like a coyote, either
Okay.
one, but probably more of a German Shepherd because their heads are bigger looking and
Yeah.
more pronounced,
Yeah.
and
I had
probably close to the same length. Maybe just the body from head to butt just a little bit longer, and the legs maybe just 6 to 8 inches long. No, I don't know, maybe a foot longer in the legs.
okay.
But from front to back of the dog, yeah, maybe about a foot longer that there too. A foot to a foot and a half.
Okay. Um, was this thing moving pretty fast, or was it just kind of
It was
just
just walking like it was taking a morning brisk, just slow paced. It wasn't in no hurry. It was kind of looking on the ground like it wasn't. I don't know if it was. It didn't look like it was sniffing the ground. It just looked like it was observing with its eyes or whatever, looking for something.
okay? Now let's get on to this. What what I potentially could believe is a cloaking Sasquatch. So, um, you were walking out. You said you heard something walking with you, step for step. About how high up in the tree were you up in your stand?
It's a tripod, and I want to say it's like 12 to 13 foot off of the ground.
Okay. And was this thing a little higher than you or level with you when you saw it?
Well, a little higher, but it was at a distance too, like say 50 yards
Okay.
is where the tree was that it was in. And it
Okay.
would have been probably about 25 foot roughly up in that tree branch. So we were kind of looking in line with each other the way that the land goes uphill a little bit
Yeah.
right there where I'm sitting underneath the tree.
Mhm.
So we're almost eye to eye roughly, but not really. It was still probably a couple foot above me, eye level wise.
Now, did you see it get into the tree or you looked over and boom, there it was?
Yeah, I looked over and boom, there it was. I had like scanned from right to left, and when I come over, there's like a field that I was hunting. There's
Yep.
a little tree line, excuse me, and then a tree line, and then a wood thicket that I walked through to get there. There's like 10 acres of woods, and it's pretty thick. I walked down a critter trail, and then there's another critter trail that it was walking down, and right there, close to where I was, close to the bushes and stuff that I went past, there's like a big giant old growth oak tree, and there's a whole bunch of old growths that's right there in between us on the way back when we were walking back.
Okay. Now again, you are saying in a way you communicated with this thing and you had intelligent responses
Yeah.
with your communications. And you said again, you kind of looked away for a couple minutes and then it was gone.
Yep.
Now, after after you got out of your stand and you said you were walking back, you got about halfway back to your house, you saw these giant shrubs, bushes, and they were just shaking and shaking. Um, were you also hearing did you hear any vocalizations of any kind by chance?
Not that I remember. Not then. Now, during the day prior to this incident, I've heard stuff call my name and I'll answer what, and there's nothing's answered back. And I asked my wife later, "Hey, was you outside? Did you call me a while ago?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Well, I swear something did. And it would come from the wood line behind me.
Okay. Well, they say that Sasquatches are amazing mimics.
Right.
You've heard the stories where a guy would be out in the backyard doing something, and he'd hear his wife calling to him from the woods, and he's like, "Wait a minute, what's she doing in the woods?" And so
Yeah.
he'll yell back, and next thing you know, his wife comes walking out on the back porch, like, What? What do you need?" And he's like, "Wait a minute, you're there, but you're over here calling my name." You know,
Right. Yeah.
I couldn't burn those woods down fast enough. I'm telling you,
Yeah. And
something
that's
like that happened.
basically, what I would hear is like her calling my name. And I was like, well, I know that I seen you walk in the house a while ago, but I'll ask you anyway. But
Yeah,
besides that, like it didn't really communicate besides the time that I sat in the stand and told it that, you know, during that time, it was like when I told it I could see it,
mhm,
and it like looked like, "No, you can't see me." And it was like, "Well, I mean, yeah, you're cloaked right now or whatever, but I can still see you. You got that silhouette of like the predator. I can see two legs, two arms. I can see your left arm on the tree because I'm like looking at it and it's like looking at me. So it would have been on its left arm on the tree."
yeah.
So yeah.
And about how far did it follow you back to your house?
All the way through the wood thicket. There's like a big old growth oak tree right there, and it checks up right there. There's like an old car that sits in the woods, and this old growth right there, and it checked up right there is where I heard its last steps, because then it opens up pretty wide, and there's another old growth oak tree that there's a tractor that's over there close to it or whatever that's broke down for years, but it would have been out of probably my range of hearing it
Mhm.
with the opening and not being in the wood thicket, because the wood thicket, if it's still walking in it, it'll kind of muffle that sound before it gets out real good.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Now
it, oh, I'm
now
sorry.
you'd mentioned a window. Now, I'm assuming it was just like an opening in the leaves
Yes.
that you were looking through, okay? Because some people are like, "What do you mean there's a window out in the middle of the woods?" And I'm thinking, "I better get this clarified because,"
Yeah. No,
so
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
and oh, no, you're good, man. I trust me, man. I've heard the same thing called different things so many times, and just a lot of times and the reason I ask is I've had people honestly ask me a question like, "What did he mean by such and such?" And not
Yeah.
just you, but other guests. I'm like, "Oh, no, he meant this, this, and this." "Oh, okay, that makes sense." So you actually did see it at one time,
Yes.
but not its face, what you would probably assume was its chest or its stomach area.
Yeah. I,
Okay.
I mean, it was hard to tell. You didn't see abs or areola and
Right.
anything like that, or like curvature. It was just a mass of hair, and it
Yeah.
was short hair and a light color, light
Okay.
brown.
Alright. And now let's get on to this black cat. So, one, I just wanna come out and ask you, how tall are you?
5'10".
You're 5'10". And you said that the top of the head of that one probably would have come up to your chin.
Yep. When I
What
measured on the tree where the bullet would have hit in the eye socket, and say the eye socket was probably almost the size of like the bottom of a Coke can, so
Mhm.
somewhere, something like that maybe.
Man, that's a big all I can say it's an animal, but again, I could be wrong because isn't there a thing called like the Wampus cat or something like that, where it's supposed to be some type of cryptid, like large cat or something like that? But again, you hear people say, well, there's Black Panthers here, there's Black Panthers there. And that's what you're describing.
Yeah, and that's what I thought it was. I mean, because my grandpa said that he saw a Black Panther when he was younger, like when I was a baby and stuff down in a valley. And then my dad said that he saw one when he was hunting and he was a kid. And then I have a cousin that seen one probably, I don't know, 2012, sitting out in his front yard,
Yeah.
like by a tree. It just went out there and sat down. And I explained it to him. And he said it was about that size. He said, for sure.
I wonder, let's see here.
But
I want to kind of,
I'm not sure because they thought it was going to be like a cougar or whatever, a jaguar or whatever you want to call it, which is actually
yeah,
it's
yeah, it's a leopard.
yeah, leopard is what
It's
it
a
is.
color
That's
variant
right.
of a leopard, and they're saying a leopard at the max is like 2.3 inches or 2.3 feet, so 2 feet 3 inches max. And you're seeing something that's sitting up about almost 5 feet.
Yeah.
That's the top of its head. That's coming right up here underneath your chin. And that's where
Uh-huh.
you're seeing the head. Yeah, there's more to that. So again, I'm not sure what type of cryptid that it could be. Normally when I hear people say, "Oh, yeah, I saw a Black Panther." Yeah, I saw a Black Panther. I'm like, I've seen a Black Panther many times. All I gotta do is go to the zoo. They have a Black Panther.
Yeah.
But now that we know they're a little over 2 feet at the head, and what you witnessed, and you saw three.
Yeah.
And you didn't even see I mean, you didn't even take a shot at the big one. You took a shot at the one that was in the middle. And that one, you said its head came almost to your chin.
Yeah.
That's insane, man. That's easily close to 5 feet.
Oh yeah. And it
At the
sounded like a female's voice in my head. It
yeah,
was like it sounded like a younger girl's voice that said, "Don't shoot." And I was like, what?
yeah.
you know, and then I was like, well, what are you? If I don't get no answer, then you're kind of like right here next to my house and stuff. And my wife, one day, I get home from work and she's like, you need to go take care of whatever that your critter is in the yard. And I was like, what are you talking about? She said, whatever, I don't know. I couldn't see it. So, something bluff charged her. She felt the wind and its presence when it stopped in front of her and like it kind of I don't she said it made some kind of a noise.
No, let me ask you, do you think it was the Black Panther, quote unquote, or do you think it was that Sasquatch? That
Maybe the
black predator?
Sasquatch because it was cloaked, and what I think I don't, but I have no idea to be honest, but I think it was on two legs because she said it ran up like she could hear it coming. And then all of a sudden it just stopped and she could feel the wind and it said like, oh, or something
Yeah.
and just walked away. But she said she couldn't ever see anything.
Nope. I'll pass.
But after I shot at that one, I hadn't heard anything, and okay, if they're in your head, they're gonna know that I'm a fighter before I'm gonna fly it. I'm
Mhm.
gonna protect mine till like the very end. It doesn't matter as long as they're safe
Yeah.
and I got you on the ropes. That's where I'm gonna keep you, no matter
Yeah.
what you are.
Yeah.
It's just the
A
way I am.
Yep. Absolutely, man.
I'm a
Well, man,
diehard.
I mean, that's pretty much that's all I got, man. I
All
mean,
right.
that's whew, man, that's crazy. That
Yeah,
is
it's like weird seeing three different critters right here close. I mean, that one was like right down the road. We were driving down the road, so say it was like the next town over,
mhm.
roughly.
Yeah,
So
that's man, hey, East Texas is hot, man. That's what they said. I mean, I have
Yeah.
multiple people telling me East Texas is no joke. You want to see something? Go to East Texas. You'll see something.
Well,
It's only a
what
matter of time.
100s from East Texas too, weren't they? That encounter, if
The
I'm not
what?
mistaken. Episode 100.
Who do I have on episode 100? Oh, maybe, but I know episode 11, Steamboat. He's from East
Yeah, East
Texas.
Texas, a little north of me.
Yeah, let's see here. Episode 100, 93, 4, 5, 6.
I don't remember
Yeah,
if it was a
East.
brother
Yep,
or
yep.
sister.
Yeah. It was Lisa and her brother. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
from East Texas. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure I've got a few more on here, are people from East Texas. But again, yeah, man, it's crazy. I don't have any answers if you had any questions, but the best thing I do, man, is try to get. I don't know if you already have, but get some trail cams and put them around your house. Maybe get some security cameras and try to catch those panthers again, man.
All right.
I mean, that would be phenomenal to catch some footage of those.
Yeah. I mean, it could be like some kind of wampus cat because I mean it's big. I mean, roughly 5 foot. That's
Yeah,
on all fours. That's a that's a big animal.
I'm gonna do something here real quick. Here
Which
we go.
it was dark enough. I couldn't see whiskers and all that stuff. You could see like ears, shoulders, back. The legs clearly because it was the darkest thing that was there. But
Yeah, this is crazy, man. Because here's man, if that truly is a wampus cat, man, I'm telling you, no, thank you. That's crazy. So they're saying it has like 6 legs.
really, hey, that could very well be.
Man,
I don't remember seeing 6 legs, but I mean, I could have missed one set.
yeah. Especially if you didn't get a very, very clear look at it, you
Yeah,
know?
because it wasn't as clear as I would have liked to have had.
Yeah,
Because then I would have probably like tried to sketch it out or something.
yeah.
Especially if it was 6 legged, that would be like wicked.
No,
I don't know if I would have shot at it then. I mean, I might have been a little wary.
yeah. I'd have grabbed my animals and brought them in the house.
Yeah, y'all just come in.
Yeah. Well, all right, man. Hey, that's all I got.
All right. Thank you, sir. I mean,
Hey, thanks for stay in the lobby for a little bit, but thanks for coming back on, man. I truly appreciate it.
oh yeah, no problem. I
All
mean,
right.
hopefully I can see something else and have another encounter or something. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not it's all neat to me, and I'm curious now that I know that they exist.
Yeah.
So,
Dude,
yeah.
man, just keep me posted if something happens, man.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
All right. Well, let me close the show out. You hang out in the
Yes, sir.
lobby. I'll be right back to you.
All right.
All right, guys. That was Charles. You guys, again, interesting encounters, possible Thunderbird, a dogman type creature, a cloaked Sasquatch, Black Panther cat / Wampus cat. Who knows? But again, I love hearing encounters like this, and this isn't the only encounter from East Texas, and they're seeing a lot of things out in East Texas. So again, if you guys are investigators and you have the time, the money, and the gumption, head out to East Texas. I'm sure you'll see something. But before I go, guys, again, thank you so much for all the support you have on the channel. If you guys have had an encounter you'd like to come on the show, there's my email address, the cryptidpodcast72@gmail.com. Again, I appreciate it. And, I'm not going to get out of here without saying, like my buddy Josh always says, stay prayed up. And you guys always like to say, remember, a legend always begins with a sighting. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you on the next show. Peace, guys.
I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?